Going on, people out there? What's happening? It's the Faces caseworker, aka D. Marie, the comedian. We back at it. What's going on? Topic of today: New York City mayor's banning attack on drill rap. He says that drill is the cause of all the young kids being murdered. Now, question is this true? Will he succeed in banning it? What do you guys think? Alright, I'm gonna give my perspective on it. Number one, if you like this subject, drill music being banned, New York City murders, homicide rate out the frenzy. The Bronx is going bananas, Brooklyn going bananas, Brooklyn drill, warring with Bronx drill. It's going crazy. Everybody, what you think? What do y'all think is going on out here? Alright, we all know drill music originated from where? Chicago. Right? Spilled all over the country just like any other thing, gangbanging. Bloods, Crips, Latin Kings, Nietas, Black Panthers, rashes, skin rashes. Gangs spread like skin rashes, ladies and gentlemen. If you have a skin rash, it's probably spreading just like gangs in America. They got gangs in Africa. I remember I seen a documentary. They had a gang called Tupac and Biggie, two gangs going to war in South Africa, I think. Tupac and Biggie. I don't know if they were confused or they was just like, you know what, I'm Biggie. I'm fat. So the fat guys, we gonna be on Biggie, and you skinny guys, they're going to be Tupac, okay? And that's how we going to set up our gangs. But yeah, this is crazy, man. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Talking about drill music, New York City drill. The Mayor Adams wants to ban it. He was crying on television. All right, we already know this discussion. Anybody who's a little older knows this has been touched before, trying to ban gangster rap. Before, their whole thing was that the lyrics were disgusting and it would affect children in their minds. All right. Now we're talking about the drill music will cause people, its kids, to be murdered. Innocent kids. And also the kids who don't know what they're doing, allegedly. We'll get into all that. All right. Drill music, some of the most violent music known to man, spreading all over from Great Britain across the pond to the hot concrete sidewalks of Jacksonville, Florida. If you don't hear me, open up your ears and holler back. Right, Jacksonville's another interesting one. They had Young and Ace and them on a golf course, talking about who they smoked. Now, we all know that traditionally you see people on golf courses. I just came back from Puerto Rico not too long ago. It was in a resort. They had the night golf course. And most of the people there are older white men. There's a few different nationalities there. I really doubt they were there to talk about smoking their ops. But they could be talking about some business, that may lead to some ops being dead. But that's on a long chain of supply, if you know what I mean. But that's a whole nother story. So Jacksonville had their own taste. A lot of murders went down in Jacksonville. Rappers going back and forth, dissing each other. Right? The normal tale of all this stuff is that let's look at the patterns, because when you want to figure something out and you sit a group of people around, you say, yo, let's figure this stuff out. We're going to sit around like Jesus at the Last Supper. We're going to figure this stuff out. So what you do is we use systems, right? Anybody knows I'm D. Marie. I have a history in the street, but I also have an education, which I admire much more these days. All right. Finishing another one, systems information, right? Very close. I'm a senior, upper senior, graduating with another degree. And, I'm here to help out, because systems is what the world is about. If you know how systems are developed, analysis, systems implementation, how systems are created, then you will know how to create a better one. So that's what I'm doing here. All right. Now, the system of hip-hop is communication. Now, we know and understand that when you create an avenue such as the internet or music or telephones, people communicate. Now, what they're communicating about. It's not necessarily described once a person creates a technology. So it's going to create some good and some bad. Now, we know and understand that people are the patterns that we follow. When you analyze a situation, the system must analyze every single piece of it. So first you do is you analyze certain patterns. The patterns that I see in drill music is from Chicago to Jacksonville to all the cities is that most of the people doing it are young. All right, ages of 13, maybe 14 to the early, maybe to the early 20s. All right, anybody else doing this we're just laughing at them like you're too old to be doing that nonsense. Right, but the ones who are actually smoking their ops, as they say, on YouTube and Instagram, and TikTok, are generally in high school age. All right, so that's one pattern. So we must target that group. High school kids or dropouts from high school, that age, right? Just came out the house. You know, birthdays aren't good for you no more. Mama's kisses ain't good for you no more. You want to be outside. So you first get outside. You look for your first group outside of your family, which is your friends. You choose to hang with the ruffians. That's an old school term, ruffians. Ruffians. Sound like some British term for thug, but let's just say ruffians, right? And you start hanging with these guys. Now, we know and understand, and I remember and understand, I know there's some technical book-wise when it comes to the brain. I also know for my own self when I was a young kid, that at that age, when you're a teenager in New York, if you influence and hang around with street guys, trust me, the rap music, a 40 ounce, a little bit of blunts in a car, every day listening, then you want to be one of these guys, trust me. It's kind of like a method acting. You're going to become what you're listening to and what you're acquiring to, even if your mother didn't raise you that way. It's a good chance that somebody out of the group is going to partake into that activity eventually. All right? Now, so, what you live, you rap. You rap, the more really you want to hear about it, you want to be about it. The more you talk about it, the more you think this is what it is, and the more at that age you have what you say, a lack of fear. When you're young and you're 16, 17, 18, you have a big lack of fear. You don't fear much. You're not scared of much. So that's another thing. Now you could put that energy into other stuff, not fear of getting on the stage, not have fear of a dentist drilling in your teeth. But teenage boys, white, black, Hispanic, Mexican, El Salvador, it doesn't matter, have a lot of lack of fear, especially if they're in a group and they have their friends who are promoting and saying, yeah, we hold each other down. They don't have fear. So, you take this music, you add all these things, it can have an influence. There's no guarantee that an individual will be influenced, but there's a big chance that you can be influenced because, like I said, you take the blunts, you take a young teenage brain, undeveloped, just learning how to socialize outside of the family scope, outside of the mother or the father's eyes, and you're going to make mistakes. You're going to make bad choices, and you're also going to try to fit into your peer group. You join a gang, now the gang has its own scope and laws that you have to follow. And that comes another thing. And then revenge, peer pressure. You don't want to be seen as a guy who doesn't revenge his friends who get injured. So many things behind it. So Mayor Adams, if he wants to try to attack that, yes, that'll shake up a lot of kids because it'll show them that people saying it's bad. Once you are labeling something as bad, it's letting people know that if you do indulge in it, we know we have come into a global sense and a global definition to say that, yes, what you're doing is bad. All right? Killing, smoking, mocking people who have passed away. No, the person has passed away. They are now out of their physical form. Their soul is free. Let's just give them that peace. All right? There's no coming back for them, so let them go. No, but you want to mock them. You want them to feel like they can still hear you. Now, let me let you know, drill rappers, gang, Crips, Bloods, Woo, Choo, Dominicans don't play, Trinitarios. Trust me, these guys cannot hear you. The part of their brain that transports waves into ununderstandable information no longer works. The songs that you're playing, as far as I know in this earth and soil, they cannot hear those songs. So you can yell, you want their family to hear it, I really doubt some of these kids' family is actually listening to those songs anyway. It's only other teenagers. All right? Same thing as that Snoop Dogg. Shout out to Snoop Dogg and Dre and Mary. They all came out. But they're from a different age group. Right? To them, those kids this age, those songs are like classic stuff their brothers and uncles listen to. But they're into the NBA Young Boys and all that type of stuff. Right? Young boys acting very tribal. You know, it's all about who's bad. Who's bad? It's like Michael Jackson, but instead of dancing, they're spinning blocks. It's really crazy. I mean, and this seems, as you have any scale has a tipping point. This might be the tipping point. Like Chicago did nothing about it. That's a whole nother story. New York, the metropolis. Babylon, is the Rastas say. They don't play. They ain't trying to hear it, man. We taking our city back. We got people spending a lot of money out here on property. This is New York City. We got people coming out here to watch the Knicks, right? People catching heart attacks and being Knicks fans. We don't need them to be getting shot while they're going to see the Knicks, right? That's like a double shot. So this is where we at right now, man. So the mayor attacking. And what comes after that, federal indictments, which has already been landing. But when you're young, you don't see it. You're invincible. Federal indictment doesn't mean anything to you. All right? You come home from a pass from a juvie and get killed. That's bad. Maybe the juvie should have never gave a pass. All right? Because 9 times out of 10, when the kid gets older, he's going to change. You're going to change. You're not going to stay the same. The question is, can you stay alive long enough for your brain to develop enough for you to see what you're doing is not right? So that's why parents come into play. A relative, uncle, senior, somebody. Right? Just recently they had 2 murders in the Bronx. The guys were they weren't even from the Bronx. They were from New Rochelle. At a baby shower, ended up killing each other. 2 brothers and another one who saw the guy get shot, killed the other guy who killed the other. But it was, at the end of the day, 2 brothers were dead. Or one brother killed another brother. For what? They probably was drunk, coked up or something. Pull out a gun, start shooting. You can't talk about something. You can't discuss. You can't review something once a person is dead. You can't say, yo, bro, let's talk about what happened tomorrow. You can't. Why did they come to a baby shower with guns? Clearly, if you need. You came to the Bronx, okay, so the Bronx is dangerous. Let me bring my gun. But you brought the gun to the baby shower, and you probably was drunk and alcoholed up on pills or whatever, and ended up shooting. If you knew you had problems with your brother or family, why did you go? Why didn't you just stay away? And these are grown men that did this. Family quarrels. Things like that probably would never be able to be stopped. But drill music, talking about dead people. One good thing is that you need to speak to the kids who are doing it. They need to go find those kids. They're all yelling at their projects, so it's obviously they're out there. And you need to tell them to stop doing it. All these kids in these hallways, you can watch the videos, there's a bunch of like mad kids in the hallways in somebody's apartments, always in the projects, the housing authority in New York City. They're all in this apartment yelling, oh yeah, making noise, and it's like no parent around. Where is the parent? Whose name is on the lease of these apartments? They just home all day long. It's just the little things that you peep. These kids are home all day long yelling about who do this and that. They song on YouTube and stuff like this. All day long they're at home yelling in these apartments. No job, just nothing. Where's their parents? I know for a fact because I was a kid coordinator. I used to be in all these parts from Lower East Side to Brownsville to Harlem to the Bronx, Grand Concourse Plaza, as they call Vietnam. I've been in all these buildings. You see 30 Bloods outside, and I was the one going in there to help their moms or their grandmother. A lot of times these dudes are living with their grandmothers, their aunt, and it's like a bunch of the kids, they're not, they're just doing whatever they want. The aunt is in there, probably got a chronic condition like lupus or some kind of stomach condition or something like that, and they're just in the apartment. Parents, she's sick on drugs, and she's worried she got to take care of her own health and whatever little one. So basically, the kids are on their own. They could do what they want. They could stay up all night. No one's saying anything. And this just goes on for years. So that's how you figure out how these kids are just running around the building. I'm being sarcastic. I know why. Because nobody cares. There's nobody there to say anything. So you could just do what you want. And then at least 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. So what is this kid doing outside that late? Okay, you can go to a party. Things happen. You can go to a party. It's your right to go to a party. Parties end late. And sometimes things happen. Innocent people get hurt. But every day we see from Houston to Dallas to Detroit, every day, no gangster rap or not, drill music or not. But I know in the scope of it, it's the Mayor Adams is talking about New York's problems. He's not talking about the problem all over the country. He's talking about New York specifically. And the majority of the shootings are mostly drill. But I also noticed some other shootings going on that he's not mentioning. And these people are not all drill people. Some of these things are the Trinitario gangs and stuff like that. The robbery kids, those Trinitarios that was robbing all this stuff. They may be listening to drill, but they're listening to like reggaeton drill. They use the same beats, but I don't really know what they're saying. You know? So is he focusing on those dudes too? Because they're doing a lot of shootings too. It's not just African American and Puerto Rican Crips and Bloods from 187 and Cortland Ave and all that stuff like that. Morris Heights and different stuff. It's a lot of different people doing shootings, man. You know, drill music is definitely not going to stop that. The domestic violence shootings. Those are more shootings, right? Police shootings happening. I guess they've slowed down. Black Lives Matter is in hot water. They're taking the money to go buy huge size vibrators. The WNBA girl who quit, she's not a WNBA. She looked like she could have been a pretty good player in the WNBA. And thereafter her, she ran to Canada. So, you know what I'm saying? The scope is changing. But drill music, what do you guys think? My analysis is that, yeah, you could slow it down. It'll eventually play out, but I guess he doesn't want it to play out. By then, hundreds of more kids will be dead. You know, society, the world is not supposed to be this way. We're not supposed to be tribal in a democratic country, in a democracy, right? Everybody has problems. Drill. Why do these kids focus on drilling and killing? I don't know. The question, they need to be asked these questions. I really don't know why they're doing it, but that's for another day. All right, so what do you guys think? Do you think drill music is causing the crime? Do you think freedom of speech will be pushed to the side and there'll be a rule removed from the social media sites like they did Trump and a few radical politicians? Leave your comments on the bottom. This is D. Marie, the Faces caseworker. Please subscribe, hit the like button. I will be returning back to Faces videos, but I'll also be showing my face on these joints. All right. Everybody be safe and stay in tune. Till next time, guys.